Information. Today we're going to talk about using Aries for course reserves. Just to level set, course reserves, if you're not familiar with it, course-related material that's made available either electronically or physically, and generally it's the library that's providing these services. And at Yale, we use a system called Aries. It is the supported platform for providing access to these course reserves. So just some brief information about what the service is. So it's a commercial vendor-supported software package made by Atlas Systems. At Yale, it launched in the fall of 2013, and it's been online since. And the service is managed by the library and runs on university ITS infrastructure. So just talking about how it's being used currently across the university, Yale College, Arts and Sciences, the graduate school, and school management are the key users of the system. Medical and law schools haven't yet used it yet. Just to give you a sense of, I guess, how it's being used and the activity in the system, roughly 500 courses for this spring that are using it, about 10,000 reserve items. And then when it comes to electronic resources, there have been roughly 52,000 downloads this spring. So it's a fairly actively used system. If you're unfamiliar with Aries, just to talk about the various roles that users play within the system. So faculty or their designated users place things on reserve. And it's the library staff that then takes those requests and processes them and makes them available. And then the students view that reserved material. I don't know if you're familiar with, if you've encountered other systems in the past, if you've used Aries, but in case you're curious, benefits of Aries, I think the biggest thing, it's really tightly integrated with Canvas. So that's why we're here. You gain access to it using one credential, one place to visit, and you gain access to that user interface through Canvas, which is huge. So instructors can place reserve requests online. You don't need to come to the library to do it anymore, to take a book and put it on a request. That's all automated. Instructors, this is a nice feature, instructors can arrange and tag reserve items to organize their courses. So if you put 30 items on reserve, you have a 15, 16-week semester, you could tag it in such a way that your students know exactly when to interact with the material. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. This is a big one, I think, for the library and the university in terms of risk. There's a lot of issues swirling around about copyright and copyright clearance for reserved items. And the Aries Systems has a very nice workflow that the library staff use to validate that things are in fact appropriate to use in the class for your students. And we will pay the publishers whatever fees are associated with disseminating that information. So you know that if you're using the system, the material is okay to use. And you're not going to get a call from any lawyer. Finally, it's a nice place to go and check accuracy of your reserve lists. And much like Panopto, you can get a quick sense of what the statistical usage is of the various items on reserve. Benefits for students, a couple nice things. Again, tightly integrated with Canvas. They only have one place to go to look at this stuff. They have access to their print reserve collections and e-reserves collection in one place. So that's books that are put on a shelf here in this library, or it's links out to websites or PDFs or other materials, all in one place. For students, this seems like it's a fairly popular service. They could enable the system to alert them when new items go on reserve for a class. So they get immediate notification that, hey, this professor put this book on reserve. They can also set it up in such a way that it tells them, hey, I'm going to set up a reminder to remind me that in 2 weeks I need to look at this particular item. And finally, this solution is a document, it's a place to host the material. So if you upload PDFs, they reside in Aries. So students can go and log in, interact with the content, or download it for later use. So it's also a publishing platform. This is just one example of a course in Canvas. And you'll notice here, circled in red, is where course reserves will pop up, I believe, when you actually populate that list. And then this is the student view. If you actually click through to course reserves, you can see, I don't know how big it is, but on the bottom part of the screen are the actual items that are on reserve. In this case, it's physical material that, if they were to actually click through to any of those items, it would probably say, oh, go to the best library, go to CSSSI up the hill, or wherever. If it's web pages or web resources, it's just links out. If it's PDFs, you can download the thing there. Thank you. So I'm going to hand it off to Marybeth.
Okay, hi. I'm up at the hill at CSSSI, but all of the units who do reserves and put things on reserve for you work together as a group. We refer things out to other libraries. Just have a few frequently asked questions that I thought I would mention. Do I have to provide the material to the library? No. You can upload what you like. We'll be looking at copyright, so it'll automatically, the default is to check for copyright. But you can tell us, get it for us, and we'll get the article for you or the book. Sometimes we don't have the book, we'll order the book. We'll look at how many students are in the class, so if you know how many students are in the class, you can put that information into the course record. That will help us in figuring out how many copies of a book we need to have. Do I need to tag each reserve item? It's a really good idea to tag each reserve item. Otherwise, it's hard for people to find things. We get frantic calls, usually Sunday night. My professor said there's an article supposed to be here and it's not here. Often it's because they don't know they can sort by tags or because it wasn't tagged, and so they're having trouble finding it. And we usually calm them down and help them find it.
What's a tag?
So if you say this is for the first class or the first week, by time or date, it's probably preferable to do by class in a way, because if you reuse a list the next year, the dates will be different. So if you use the first class, second class, that kind of thing. And for 0 to 9, if you use 09, 01, 02, 03, so that it will interfile correctly. It's fussy like that. But that's one of the few fussy things about it. And you can tag them with whatever you want. If you want to use topic instead of time. So this is the topic we're talking about for the next 3 weeks. You can
Science information. Today we're going to talk about using Aries for course reserves. Now, just to level set, course reserves, if you're not familiar with it, course-related material that's made available either electronically or physically, and generally it's the library that's providing these services. And at Yale, we use a system called Aries. It is the supported platform for providing access to these course reserves. So just some brief information about what the service is. So it's a commercial vendor-supported software package made by Atlas Systems. At Yale, it launched in the fall of 2013, and it's been online since. And the service is managed by the library and runs on university ITS infrastructure. So just talking about how it's being used currently across the university, Yale College, Arts and Sciences, the graduate school, and school management are the key users of the system. Medical and law schools haven't yet used it yet. Just to give you a sense of, I guess, how it's being used and the activity in the system, roughly 500 courses for this spring that are using it, about 10,000 reserve items. And then when it comes to electronic resources, there have been roughly 52,000 downloads this spring. So it's a fairly actively used system. If you're unfamiliar with Aries, just to talk about the various roles that users play within the system. So faculty or their designated users place things on reserve. And it's the library staff that then takes those requests and processes them and makes them available. And then the students view that reserved material. I don't know if you're familiar with, if you've encountered other systems in the past, if you've used Aries, but in case you're curious, benefits of Aries, I think the biggest thing, it's really tightly integrated with Canvas. So that's why we're here. You gain access to it using one credential, one place to visit, and you gain access to that user interface through Canvas, which is huge. So instructors can place reserve requests online. You don't need to come to the library to do it anymore, to take a book and put it on a request. That's all automated. Instructors, this is a nice feature, instructors can arrange and tag reserve items to organize their courses. So if you put 30 items on reserve, you have a 15, 16 week semester, you could tag it in such a way that your students know exactly when to interact with the material. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. This is a big one, I think, for the library and the university in terms of risk. There's a lot of issues swirling around about copyright and copyright clearance for reserved items. And the Aries systems has a very nice workflow that the library staff use to validate that things are in fact appropriate, to use in the class for your students, and we will pay the publishers whatever fees are associated with disseminating that information. So you know that if you're using the system, the material is okay to use, and you're not going to get a call from any lawyer. Finally, it's a nice place to go and check accuracy of your reserve lists, and much like Panopto, you can get a quick sense of what the statistical usage is of the various items on reserve. Benefits for students, a couple nice things. Again, tightly integrated with Canvas. They only have one place to go to look at this stuff. They have access to their print reserve collections and e-reserves collection in one place. So that's books that are put on a shelf here in this library, or it's links out to websites or PDFs or other materials, all in one place. For students, this seems like it's a fairly popular service. They could enable the system to alert them when new items go on reserve for a class. So they get immediate notification that, hey, this professor put this book on reserve. They can also set it up in such a way that it tells them, hey, I'm going to set up a reminder to remind me that in 2 weeks I need to look at this particular item. And finally, this solution is a document, it's a place to host the material. So if you upload PDFs, they reside in Aries. So students can go and log in, interact with the content, or download it for later use. So it's also a publishing platform. This is just one example of a course in Canvas. And you'll notice here, circled in red, is where course reserves will pop up, I believe, when you actually populate that list. And then this is the student view. If you actually click through to course reserves, you can see, I don't know how big it is, but on the bottom part of the screen are the actual items that are on reserve. In this case, it's physical material that, if they were to actually click through to any of those items, it would probably say, oh, go to the best library, go to CSSSI up the hill, or wherever. If it's web pages or web resources, it's just links out. If it's PDFs, you can download the thing there. Thank you. So I'm going to hand it off to Marybeth.
Okay, hi. I'm up at the hill at CSSSI, but all of the units who do reserves and put things on reserve for you work together as a group. We refer things out to other libraries. Just have a few frequently asked questions that I thought I would mention. Do I have to provide the material to the library? No. You can upload what you like. We'll be looking at copyright, so it'll automatically, the default is to check for copyright. But you can tell us, get it for us, and we'll get the article for you or the book. Sometimes we don't have the book, we'll order the book. We'll look at how many students are in the class. So if you know how many students are in the class, you can put that information into the course record. That will help us in figuring out how many copies of a book we need to have. Do I need to tag each reserve item? It's a really good idea to tag each reserve item. Otherwise, it's hard for people to find things. We get frantic calls, usually Sunday night. My professor said there's an article supposed to be here and it's not here. Often it's because they don't know they can sort by tags or because it wasn't tagged, and so they're having trouble finding it. And we usually calm them down and help them find it.
What's a tag?
So if you say this is for the first class or the first week by time or date, it's probably preferable to do by class in a way, because if you reuse a list the next year, the dates will be different. So if you use the first class, second class, that kind of thing. And for 0 to 9, if you use 09, 01, 02, 03, so that it will interfile correctly. It's fussy like that. But that's one of the few fussy things about it. And you can tag them with whatever you want. If you want to use topic instead of time. So this is the topic we're talking about for the next 3 weeks. You can tag them with time and topic. Next question, what is a pickup location? We fixed it so it's easier. There used to be a default of Bass Library. So if you didn't catch that you needed to choose a pickup location, all your requests for processing went to Bass. And since they're the largest provider of reserves on campus, that could have put you back farther in the queue. Pickup location is where you would like print materials to be for your students. And that varies depending on what you're teaching. CSSSI is the sciences, but the engineering collection is down here. And so BASP provides reserves processing for engineering.
So I think we're at time. We need to take questions now.
Okay.
So thank you. Any questions?
How much of a book will the library?
I was hoping someone would do that. So we have a guideline that we will do 20%. It's a guideline, so it's a little soft around the edges, but 20% of a book. We have had if the book is out of copyright and we have the time and the staffing, we can do much more, but it's 20%.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.